Hey, you're getting picked to go to the Russian border in Estonia, rolling out with like 86 tanks, man. English tanks. It's crazy. I'd never seen movements like this. That Enhanced Forward Presence Battle Group was the English, Danish, French, and the Estonians grouped up. So it was a trip. We'd be out on, some exercise in the woods, and I'd come across an English guy and he'd see the French flag and he's like, and I'm like, hey, it's all good, bro. It's a trip. And he's like, what the are you doing out here, dude? But still challenging because you're still in the Foreign Legion. No matter where you are, it's that discipline, it's that grind. You're treated a little bit different than normal French military. It's just a little bit more of a grind, I would say. And that's because of the culture. Like the culture, like I said before, a lot of leadership is Eastern Bloc countries. It's a tough guys coming from tough countries, tough lives, and they push that culture down. It works though. It keeps the discipline tight. People don't get loose. You don't lip off or get weird in the Foreign Legion. They'll crush your soul. Like they'll make your life absolutely miserable.
We get pulled over. The cop comes up to the window and says, you have a warrant out for your arrest. We got to take you to jail or whatever. I'm laughing because I'm thinking like this is just a routine traffic stop. 10 minutes goes by. The second cop car shows up. Another 10 minutes goes by. The third cop car shows up. I'm like, yeah, I'm f***ed. Like I knew something wasn't right at this point. And then I seen the cop walking back to the car, and he didn't have my driver's license and registration in his hand.
Right.
And I know immediately when that happens, he's going to ask me to exit the vehicle.
Yeah.
So as he's walking, I'm watching him in my side rear view, and I leaned to my wife. I'm like, listen, I'm going to jail. I was like, go home and get everything out of the house. I was like, everything. All the equipment. I was like, get rid of everything. Because I was like, this is going to be bad. They're going to come. They're going to search. They arrest me. They take me down to Falkenberg Road Jail. I remember sitting in jail for 2 days, and then the weekend came. And then I sat there the whole weekend, no nothing. And then Monday came, and then they called me to pack up my stuff. Like, Boziak, call me, roll it up. I roll up all my I walk out, still don't know what's going on. A U.S. Marshal shows up at the jail to pick me up to transfer me from Falkenberg Jail to Pinellas. So I went to Pinellas County Jail. I went to court that day, and they let me out.
I'd send you and your wife to Europe for 3 weeks. You're going to go there on a private jet. You're going to spend $200-300 grand shopping, this, that, making a big scene at the George Cinq or the Ritz in Paris where everybody knows you're just disgustingly rich. You came in with all these Louis Vuitton trunks, and you're going to go back on private, with all this shopping and everything. Now, you get to keep the shopping and you make 200 grand, but every one of them trunks is filled with pills on the way back. And the reason for that is that we used to fly private to Vegas all the time. So one of the dudes pulls me aside one day and he says, hey, listen, shows me aeronautical maps, shows me refueling stations, and he highlights the customs offices. And he says, theoretically, if you're flying back from Europe and you land in Maine or Minnesota or any of these places to refuel, which you have to for any of the private jets, what happens is 2 hours before you land, the pilots call into customs to tell them who's on the plane. Bro, if you look, the customs office here at this airport is 4 hours away at 100 miles an hour from the airport. So if they want you, you're going to have 2.5, 3 hours on the ground before they get there. So all you got to do is have somebody there who's willing to overpower the pilot and take the shit, which is no problem, right? There's no security at these private airports.
Right.
That's what we were doing.
I would make a fake birth certificate, a fake shot record, and I would go into Social Security and I would say, hey, my son was born with a midwife and I never had a Social Security number issued. And they go, oh, well, let me see, what's his name, what's your name? And they pull it up and they look and they go, oh, wow. And they punch in the information on the birth certificate and they go, oh, you're right, he doesn't have one. Well, hold on, they'd hand it back. They go, within the next couple weeks, you'll get one in the mail. Okay. So I get it in the mail. And then I would go and I'd apply online for credit cards. I get turned down, of course, but that creates a credit profile. Then I would turn around and I would apply for secured credit cards. So I get 3 secured credit cards and I just make the payments. And then in 6 months, they would have 710 credit scores, 705, 716 or whatever. You only needed a 610 to get a bank loan if you had met all the other criteria, which of course he's going to meet. At this point, I've got...
Because you're going to create it.
Yeah, I've got shell companies, created fake online banks.
In front of me a quarter brick, and my dumbass turned around in front of that. And I call him, well, what's up? I said, you tell me. Nothing. I said, I need to get that bread. He's like, I ain't got it. What do you mean you ain't got it? He's like, I ain't got it. I said, well, you need to come up with it. He said, nah. He said, you're hit. Basically, in those words,
Well, how much was it?
It was, let's see, back then, think I was paying about 900 an ounce. So $7,200. Now here I am, 17 years old. I just got that on the arm.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I called my dude. I'm like, hey, man, I need to talk to you. He's like, what's up? I went over to his house and told him, I was like, you know what you gave me? I f***ed up in front of that. And dude said, you know what I mean? I'll pay you back. I said, but I'm gonna straighten this out. I'm gonna go get him. He said, I'll tell you what, you go get him and make it right. You don't owe me a penny. Just make sure that you get your name right.
Right.
All right. So I go over, I found out where he lives, because he had moved. He got a nice little house with a fence around it out in the woods. So I start staking it out for a couple of days. And this one night, I'm like, it's over. I see him pull in. He lets his 2 dogs out. He had 2 pits. He goes in the backyard. They piss and everything. Goes back in. I'm watching him. He sits down, starts watching TV and shit. I hopped over the fence. There was a half a center block. He had a grill sitting on half center block. So I moved the grill. And I had the shotgun in this hand. I grabbed the center brick in this one. And I did a complete 360 and slung it through this sliding glass door. And when I went in, both his dogs hopped up. I did, boom, boom. And I jumped over the couch, hit him right in the mouth, and knocked a couple of teeth out. And I said, cool? What money? And no, don't kill me. I said, come on, let's go open the safe up. So he opened up the safe, and I ended up tying him up. This old lady was tied up. She was freaking out, too.
Do you have a mask on?
No. No. At the time, I was
Right.
young, I was dumb,
Yeah.
So I tell him, I said, listen, man, I'm gonna let you live, but you should have never done this in the first place. And really, because I got over 10 grand in cash.
And it didn't feel like we were talking very long. He kept asking questions. He goes, let's go ahead and take a break. And I thought I could go 3 hours without taking a break easy. A little bit later, he's like, let's take another break. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, you need another break? I was like, no, I'm good. So then finally, when we're wrapping it up, he's like, oh, he goes through all the motions, and he says, I'll do an intro later. And everything. I said, okay.
Right.
And then he's got, I didn't realize that he had a clock that was sitting here the whole time that he could see.
See how long.
And he goes, how long do you think we've been talking? I went, oh, man. I said 3-4 hours, 7.5 hours. And I was like, jeez, are you serious? He said, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And my first thought was, my wife's going to kill me. I left her in the lobby. She said, so I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to get lunch. Text me when you're done. Okay. Right. So at one of the breaks, I said, hey, we're wrapping it up.
Right.
And it was 3 hours later. I click on it, and I had just a couple. She said, hey, I'm just going to go to the car. Mm-hmm. It's been a while. You're obviously still talking. I'm just going to the car. She had gone to the car, sat in the car for like 30 minutes. Climbed in the back of the car, fell asleep for like an hour or two.
Wow.
And he trimmed it down to 6.5 hours.
Everybody in the neighborhood like, bro, Denzel in town. I was going every day once I found out they was doing auditions in the AT&T building. I was going every day. Mean woman up there, bro. Mean lady at the desk. It was like she was just tired of seeing just me. But I'm trying to be, I'd heard all these stories about people being consistent and all that. So I'm like, I'm going to go every day. I'm working on my story. So I can be doing stuff like this, saying, I went in there every day. I didn't take no for an answer. You know what I'm saying? So every day she was getting an attitude. Sir, there are no openings. We're not doing anything right now. We have your number. We'll let you know. People coming behind me, nice as ever to them. She talking sweet to everybody else. Promise, bro. No games. On Jesus Benoit Christ. She being mean, super mean. One day I went, this what happened at work. Lady behind me was crying. My homeboy, Courtney Ross, who gave me the job, he went back there and he was like, what's going on? He was our team leader. And she was like, man, I cashed my check on my break and lost $500. She was like, I lost all my money. That's my bill money. That's my car note. And, I'm just like, dang.
Lost her money?
She
just lost it.
She lost it.
Oh.
She ain't know where it was. I just heard her behind me crying. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I'm cutting hair and working at you know what I'm saying? So I got haircut money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? This what I did. Not for no blessing or not for no nothing. I just felt sorry for her because she was an older lady. I turned around. I had $300 in my pocket. I said, look, I heard what you said, about you lost your check. I just want to, give you this. I said, don't tell nobody. Don't go announce it at work. Don't make no big deal. Just take it. This for you. Because I heard you lost your money. I just wanted to help you. She started crying even louder. You know what I'm saying? She started crying even louder. My homeboy Courtney came back there and, she told him like, yeah, he just gave me boom, boom, boom. On my break, I said, I'm going to go to the AT&T building. You know, they doing auditions for the Great Debaters. When I went this day, she went at the desk. It was a dude up there. Soon as I walked in, bro, he was like, hey, you here to audition? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, hey, walk right through this door. Swear to God, bro. Went smooth. Walk back there. They had 2 lines on the paper that you got to say. I said the lines. They just started fitting me for the clothes. Right then, we get to Louisiana. We finna do our first skit. We shopping for clothes and stuff to do the skit with. He was like, bro, we ain't gonna post no video. We gonna post a pic. And I was like, nah, bro, you know, not understanding, okay, he young. He on to some stuff that I may not know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? As far as like internet comedian, he had his own little wave going. His pictures were going viral. I was just all about videos.
Yeah.
You know, we took a picture. We posted the picture, bro. Shut the internet down. You got to realize, young boy, the biggest star in the world. He the biggest star in the world. He do more numbers. He the biggest star in the, you know. Bro, this picture was everywhere. I'm seeing myself get to new platforms that I was trying to get on that I wasn't on at first. I'm like, oh yeah, this young boy character is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? So once again, young boy, a serious dude. So I'm telling Peanut, I'm like, hey bro, look, don't do no skits or nothing that this man gonna feel like is an insult, bro. We ain't trying to disrespect nobody. You feel what I'm saying? We just trying to do what we doing, but we ain't trying to hurt what they doing, trying to help ourselves. You feel me? It's wrong at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm monitoring like his content, but he did a couple of little videos. I had to say, hey bro, take that down, bro. We ain't doing that, you know? And that's just me. And I'm just putting that out there for people that don't know how that situation was ran and how I move. I ain't about disrespecting nobody, bro, because I don't want nobody disrespecting me, because I'm willing to go there if you do it. I'm willing to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, we super viral. We dropping videos. My YouTube page went from like 30,000 subscribers to like 200,000.